Hey guys, welcome to the first session of Physical Features of India. I'm Ankana, your master teacher for social sciences at Vedantu. What's up people? How are you guys doing? Do tell me in the comments section. I would love to hear from you. How is it going guys? How is your preparation? How is your studies going on? How are you doing in this difficult time? Yeah? Okay, so let's get quickly started with our session discussing the answer of the previous session's question. It was C, 25 years. And people who have answered the fastest are Anandi Mehta, Sachin and Sumedha. Congrats you guys. My heartiest congratulations to you. I'm so proud of you that you guys have actually made it on the leaderboard. Guys, remember, all of you can have your names over here. All you need to do is just make sure that you are answering the question the fastest and in the comment section, not in the live chat. Not just in the live chat. Well, yeah. Okay, so this is what we are going to do today. We're basically going to look at the introduction of the physical features, understand how was India formed, what are basic, major physiographic division of India, and then talk about one of the features as well. And of course, at the end, we're going to have our homework question. Very important. Yeah, so let's quickly get started with the introduction. But as you know, India is a very diverse country, and we're not diverse just in terms of culture, languages, food habits of people, but a lot of other things. We're also very diverse when it comes to the geographical features. We have almost each and every major physical feature that exists on Earth. Be it mountains, plains, deserts, islands, plateaus, all of this you will actually find in India. And that's the beauty of our nation. Each and everything can be found over here, right? But interestingly, all of these things do not age the same, which means maybe if this island is few years old, the other part of the mass, of the land mass, might be even older than that. Not the entire island, the entire land mass of the Indian subcontinent was formed at once. And how was it formed is a very interesting story. We are soon going to explore it. But the point is that whatever the relief, the Indian relief is currently, however it looks, and you might be now thinking, ma'am, this is a word I've read everywhere, but what does it mean? But your relief basically means vertical or horizontal dimensions of a land surface, and how does it look at present. So whatever the division or whatever the dimension, the stretch and look of the Indian relief of the Indian land mass is right now, it has been responsible, it has been formed because of multiple forces. It did not just was born like that. It became like that because of multiple forces. There were multiple reasons behind it, like the weathering, like the erosion and deposition. All of these things are responsible and have created what India is right now. And this is the result of all of these, you can say phenomena. Yeah. So that is basic introduction. But of course, we need to understand that how did India get formed? In fact, how did the entire world get formed? The entire world also did not used to look like how it looks right now. So how did all of this start though? So let's understand the making of India. Now, it's going to be a very interesting story. So actually, bacha, what happened was the scientists gave us one theory. This theory was of plate tectonics. Now, what was this theory? So according to this theory, the scientists said that the entire world is actually made up of some 7 major plates and some minor plates as well, which exists under the crust of the earth. And these plates actually keep moving, which results in the formation of various physical features. This results, the movement of the plates results in the faulting of the Earth's surface and also leads to volcanic eruptions. Now see, we are aware of volcanic activities. We also understand what means by folding. But what is meant by faulting? So, but your faulting in simple words, if I try to describe you, is basically the cracks, or you can say the fracture on the crust, okay, on the surface of the earth. Now, this is what they described as the theory of tectonic plates. Now, they said that these movements keeps on happening. So, what are these movements? What kind of movements happen? So basically there are 3 kinds of movements: convergent, divergent and transform movement, okay, which results in these kinds of boundaries: convergent boundary, divergent boundary and transform boundary. Now what do we understand by that, bacha? So basically, if there are two plates, if they move towards each other, they're going to converge, okay? And they're basically moving towards each other, so convergent boundary will be formed. If they move away from each other, the surface will also move away, then the divergent boundary will be formed. But there's one more thing that happens when they're moving towards each other. What is that? So let's say there are two plates, one of that is kind of weaker. Then what will happen? It will collide and crumble and it will go under. Or it will just slide under the other plate. Now in this scenario, instead of forming a folding, instead of forming a convergent boundary, they will form something called transform boundary. Okay. So these were the basic three movements. Yeah. And guys, as you simply understand, convergent boundary would form mostly folding. Divergent would mostly form faulting. Yeah. So this is how it was supposed to be. But naturally, if you think about it, if certain kind of movement is happening, definitely it will create some disturbance. It will create some stress, some tension on the surface of the earth. And that is what happened when these plates were moving, and that is what the theory of the tectonic plates also explained to us, that because of these movements, that resulted in the formation of the various physical divisions and features on earth, because they created certain pressure, certain tension and stress on the surface. Now let's see how did that happen. But of course, before that, I quickly want to take this moment and tell you that something big and amazing is going to happen. As you're well aware, Vedantu is the learning partner of Kaun Banega Crorepati 2020. And guys, we are not just proud to say that, but we are, along with that, are also bringing a wonderful opportunity for you not to just show your talent, but also to meet Amitabh Bachchan. And what do you need to do for this? All you need to do is download the Vedantu app and play the week quiz that's over there from 5th October to 18th October. This is going to go on. You just need to keep playing that. If you're not very sure how to register, how to play, what are the steps, simply download the Vedantu app, yeah, and you will just get all of the information over there. Guys, keep playing. This is one in a lifetime opportunity. It's going to be super, super awesome. Coming back to the point of formation of India and what these movements of the lands and plates were leading to. So now we're going to talk about Gondwana. Now this sounds familiar. What is Gondwana? We kind of know, it is also mentioned in the book. And we know that India was formed from Gondwana. But where did Gondwana come from? I mean, like, what formed Gondwana? It must have started somewhere, right? So let's see how did Gondwana get formed. So Bacha, Gondwana was actually the southern part of the ancient supercontinent Pangaea with Angara land in the northern part. Now this is very short. Let's dwell into a little more depth of it. So this is a story which goes millions of years back to Mesozoic period. Now at that time, the earth did not used to look like how it looks right now. There were not so many land masses, there were not so many continents, there were not so many oceans and seas. Interesting, right? There was one supercontinent which was a huge landmass which constituted of all the landmass together. That was known as supercontinent called Pangaea. And there was a super ocean. There were not so many water bodies also. Now naturally, because of the movement of these plates, this Pangaea, the supercontinent, split. And when it split into two parts. In the northern part, which was known as Angara land or Laurasia, which basically constituted of, North America, Asia and Europe. And the southern part, which was Gondwana, which India was a part of. Okay. Now you might be thinking, ma'am, you're saying that Asia was in the northern part in Angara land or Laurasia, but India right now is in Asia. You're absolutely right. If you're getting that question in your mind, let me quickly tell you how did that happen. So, Bacha, Asia and India were not together right from the beginning. India was not a part of Asia right from the beginning. It was a part of the Gondwana land along with Australia, South Africa and Antarctica and of course South America also. All of these things were together. And then the convection currents split them up. Now, what is convection current? So Bacha, as you know, under the surface of the earth, we have magma, we have lava. The temperature is very, very high and everything is boiling in there. The minerals, the magma, the lava, all of it is just boiling at the center. Now, the highest temperature is right in the center where the magma is found in the core of the earth. But as this lava comes towards the surface of the earth, the temperature starts decreasing because the highest is in the core. So as it moves away from the surface, naturally the temperature will decrease. You can imagine it as the air currents are formed, right? How air works. As the towards the land, the air gets heated up, and then it gets lightened up, and then because of the density and it gets lightened up and it moves upwards, and then the cold air rushes to fill in that space, right? And the same cycle keeps on going on, and the same cycle used to keep, I mean, like, it still goes on inside the earth also, guys. The lava, after it starts moving up, you know, it starts getting colder, and then the hot the hot lava will rise up, and the cold lava from the surface will go inside to replace it, and this will lead to a circulation, a formation of cycle. This results in a current which is known as convection current, which naturally creates certain pressure on the surface of the earth, which results in the movements of the plates, which results in the formation of various physical features. And that is exactly what happened because of this convection currents. The Gondwana land further got split. First, Pangaea got split into Angara land or Laurasia and Gondwana land, and then again the same thing happened, and then it further split because of this pressure, and that separated India, and that also resulted in the formation of the western stretch of the mountains, the mountain range of Western Asia and Himalayas. Now, how were Himalayas formed is a very interesting story. So, Bacha, as I told you, India was not a part of Asia. So, it was, separated from Asia. It was separated from Laurasia, that continent, by a sea called Tethys Sea. Now, under this sea, sedimentation was happening. So, sediment rocks in the beginning actually exist below on the floor bed of any water body. The same thing happened. Himalayas are sedimentary rocks which were existing, which were being formed under the seabed of the Tethys Sea. So what is sedimentation? Let's first understand that. Accumulation, collection of different particles forming layers is known as sedimentation. And the same thing was happening under Tethys Sea also, where, you know, the organic materials, the minerals, the dust particles, all of these things were getting accumulated, were getting sedimented, were getting formed, and were forming a layer. Now, when these movements happened, the landmass, you know, Indian subcontinent was pushed towards Asia, which resulted in the folding of the land that was there in the middle, that was there in the Tethys Sea, and Himalayas erupted as a result of that, and India got joined with Asia, and all these continents further split into North America, South America, Europe, Asia, and all and so on and so forth. As you know, Australia, Antarctica, and all of that was happening. And that is how Himalayas were formed. So if you think about it, guys, the certain landmass which was a part of the Gondwana land already existed. Further got a new feature, a new physical feature was born, which was Himalayas, due to this collision, and also the mountain system of the Western Asia. Now, as I told you that the entire landmass geologically does not age, is not of the same age. Naturally, Himalayas are actually newborn physical features which happened during this collision when Asia and India got together. Yeah, but the peninsular part was already a part of the Gondwana land, which naturally makes it an older landmass. But something also was formed along with Himalayas, which is the northern plains. And how was that formed? So just simply imagine the land folded. Naturally, it would have created a sort of cavity where it folded near the foothill. Near the hills, the foots of the hill, right? Near the foothill, it would have, that cavity would have got created. A basin sort of thing would have got created. Now, it was supposed to be filled, and it started getting filled up by the river system, which used to bring all the sediments, all of these things, all the particles from the mountains of Himalayas as they started flowing towards the landmass of India. And they started filling it up with the alluvium, and that is why we find alluvial soil, and that further formed the new fertile land of northern plains. And why are they so fertile? Because these sedimentary rocks, their sediments, their silts, and all of those things were being brought by the rivers from these mountains with all those minerals, which made it very, very fertile towards the peninsular, towards the northern plains. And that creates the northern plains and Himalayas, and that is why they are comparatively very young when compared to the peninsular plateau. And the peninsular plateau is actually composed of igneous and metamorphic rocks, whereas the Himalayas are the sedimentary rocks. Yeah, so that is basically how India got formed. You can have a look at it with all the physical features. Now let's quickly talk about the major physiographic divisions of India. Guys, as I told you, Indian subcontinent is very diverse. It constitutes of every physical feature possible. Yeah, if you see, it contains of mountains, it contains of plains, plateaus, deserts, and coastal plains and islands. All of it is right over here in our country. So you know what these are named as: Himalayan Mountains, Northern Plains, Peninsular Plateau, Coastal Plains, Indian Desert, and of course the islands. Today we are going to talk about the very first physical feature, the Himalayan Mountains. Yeah, so let's quickly talk about Himalayan Mountains, guys. As you know, it is one of the youngest physical feature of India. For our easiness of understanding, we have actually divided it in multiple ranges, right from north to south and also from west to east as we move forward. But let's first understand how does it exist, what are its dimensions, where it is present. So guys, it is one of the loftiest and rugged mountains in the entire world. And in fact, it is asset for our country. It's so beautiful. I feel so proud that Himalayas are actually a part of our country, because they also act as a natural boundary for the country, which kind of guards us and saves us from all the neighboring countries in just case if they want to invade the country. It acts as that guard which does not let any enemy, any neighboring country, anyone enter here without our permission. Yeah, and the stretch is actually of 2,400 kilometers. That's the distance that Himalayas exist. You know, that's the length of the arc that it forms. And it starts right from the Indus river system and goes till the Brahmaputra. That's the stretch, guys. And as I told you, it's one of the most huge and rugged as in very uneven. High, low, all of these forms of lands are there in Himalayas. Yeah. Also, it's not just very long, it's also very wide. Though the width of the Himalayas change when you compare it in the northern part and the southern part, like towards more of the eastern part. Towards Kashmir, it's somewhere around 400 kilometers, which when it moves towards Arunachal Pradesh, it reduces somewhere to 150 kilometers. Also, the height variation is also a lot. The altitude also keeps changing. Now, as I told you, bacha, we have, for our easiness of understanding, divided the Himalayas. But naturally, also the Himalayas, when north to south you see, exists in 3 parallel ranges. It's like 3 parallel lines if you imagine. And we have named it as Himadri, the first one, the second was Himachal or Lesser Himalayas, and the third one is Shivaliks. Okay, as I told you, the east-west region is also divided. We will see about it in a little while. Let's first talk about the northernmost Himalayan range. As you can see, this one over here. Okay, this one over here, the topmost one is known as the Inner Himalayas or Himadri. If you compare it from our country, guys, it is the outermost region. Okay, and Himadri actually has the highest peaks, highest mountain ranges in the world. Mount Everest and all of these ranges actually are a part of this. Also, they are home to the biggest glaciers of the world. Siachen, you might have heard about, it's very famous, is actually a part of this range only. Also, as I told you, because it constitutes of the highest peaks, the average altitude of this is around 6,000 meters. Imagine, guys, 6,000 meters. That's the average. And this is mostly composed of granite, which means it's very rich in carbon. And the major rivers starts from here because they're all year along snow bounded, and of course are home to the major glaciers. Then comes our second range, second layer, the second stretch, which is of the Himachal or Lesser Himalayas. Now, these are not as high as Himadri, but the average altitude, if you say, is somewhere around 4,500 to 3,700 kilometers. Still pretty high. And the width also comparatively decreases. It is somewhere around 50 kilometers. So, bacha, if you look at this strip, this one is your Himadri. The second strip over here is our Himachal or Lesser Himalayas. Okay, there are few ranges which are, I mean, there are multiple ranges in this area also. Pir Panjal range being one of the longest and most important range of this stretch. Then we also have Dhauladhar and Mahabharat ranges in this part. It consists most of the hill stations, guys, and that is why from the perspective of tourism, this stretch becomes very important. You know, the hill stations of Manali, Tosh, Kasol, all of these will fall under this part of the Himalayas only. It consists all of those famous valleys of Kashmir, Kangra and Kullu in Himachal Pradesh, and as I told you, is well known for its hill stations. And then comes our third, which is the outermost range of Himalayas called Shivaliks. Though it is the innermost, the first range that we found if we look from the country's perspective. If you move towards from India to Himalayas, first you come across Shivaliks, then Lesser Himalayas, and then or Himachal, and then towards then you find Himadri. Yeah. Now Shivaliks, guys, is known as known with different names in different regions. Try to find out what is it known as in Kashmir and Uttarakhand. That's your homework. That's your task. Yeah. Try to find out what is Shivaliks known as in Kashmir and in Uttarakhand. If we talk about the width decreases as we move from the Lesser Himalayas or Himachal towards Shivaliks. In Himachal, as we saw, it was somewhere around 50 kilometers. Over here, it ranges from 10 to 50 kilometers. And the altitude also decreases. The altitude over here on an average is found somewhere between 900 meters to 1100 meters. If you compare from the Himadri was 6000 meters, guys. Over here it decreases almost till 1000 meters. Yeah, many of the rivers actually flow through this area. A lot of rivers flow through this area. Naturally, the glaciers are born in Himadri and they flow towards here and then ultimately form the whole river system. As a result of which, this whole valleys, you know, all of the valleys in this region is brought, because of the continuous flowing of these rivers, has a lot of unsettled sedimentation. Because naturally, sedimentation will keep happening. The rivers that are flowing down from the upper region is bringing a lot of sediments, a lot of silt, a lot of sand, a lot of materials after eroding the mountain ranges, right? And all of these are being consolidated over here, but they're not settled naturally because the sedimentation keeps on happening on a regular basis. So they do not get a chance to settle and they are sort of, you can say, not very composed, not very, certain and old over here. They keep on forming new, which makes it somewhat not so settled. Okay, and that is why these valleys have a very thick layer of soil on the top, which is of gravel and alluvial soil, because these are formed by this sedimentation and the silts which is brought down by the river. And these are very fertile in nature naturally because they are bringing in all the silt and all the materials from the sedimentary rocks, which are very rich in minerals and organic materials, and that is what is making the plains that is further formed over the down on the foothills very fertile very fertile in terms of agriculture. Yeah, guys, also these the area between the Lesser Himalaya or Himachal and the Shivaliks have a lot of valleys which are known as dunes. The cities of Dehradun, Kotli Dun, Patli Dun, all of these actually are here, and because they are known as dunes, it lies right over here. Then let's quickly talk about the division of Himalayas when we move from west to east. It's mostly done on the basis of the states that are constituting of this. The first one is the Punjab Himalayas, or you can say Kashmir and Himachal Himalayas. The second one is the Kumaon Himalayas, and the third one is Assam Himalayas. Let's quickly have a look at it on the maps. You can take a screenshot of this map, guys, of this slide. It will help you understand. It's very useful. So this is where the Punjab Himalayas exist, that is between the Indus and the Satluj river. Then we have the Kumaon Himalayas, as you can see, between the Satluj and the Kali or Sharda rivers. Then this is the whole part of Nepal Himalayas. Okay, that's not really under India. And then we have the Assam Himalayas, which is between the Tista or Dihang or Shiang rivers. Yeah, that's basically the division when we talk about from movement, the stretch of Himalayas from west to east. The easternmost boundary of India is also formed by the Himalayas, which is known as Purvanchal or Eastern Hills and Mountains. Yeah, and that is towards the Brahmaputra. That is what marks the easternmost boundary of the Himalayas, guys. And if you actually look at the map, you know, if I go a little back, you will notice that the Himalayas from here move straight, and over here all of a sudden they kind of take a U-turn and then form the eastern boundary of our country. Yeah, and that is after the Dihang Gorge, where it all of a sudden bends and forms the Purvanchal. They basically run through most of the states of the northeastern region, which also, because of the mountain terrain, makes it very difficult to travel over here, but they're also the biggest attraction of all of these places. And as a result of this, they are also covered in a very dense forest, because you would read in types of soils further. The forest soil is very, very fertile and can support the whole forest in a pretty good manner. And that it also constitutes of very strong sandstone. That's the kind of formation of the mountains that's over there. And if we talk about the hills that it comprises of in the eastern zone, it is the Patkai Hills, the Naga Hills, the Mizo Hills, the Manipur Hills. All of this is a part of the Himalayas on the eastern side. And with that, guys, we are done with the discussion of Himalayas. I hope that was very, very interesting for you. Before the homework question, let me quickly remind you guys, all of your problems of doubts. Where do you ask your doubts? What notes do you refer to? How do you well prepare for your exams? Where do you get good amount of tests and assignments? How do you prepare for competitive exams? What schedule should you follow? And how can you have a choice of language? All of these issues have now been solved with Vedantu Pro subscription. And that comes with a lot of bonuses of live classes. You're going to have unlimited live classes. You do not have to worry whether the session is premiered or live, because all the classes are going to be live, and you're going to have a good amount of personalized attention over there. All your doubts are going to be solved right there in the class with the help of the class teachers and master teachers, and whatever you want to say, whatever you want to clarify can be done right over there. Not just that, you're going to have a lot of quizzes with a lot of, in-class interaction, and that will also give you in-class live performance reports, which will help you understand how well prepared are you in terms of your examination. And just in case if you miss on any of the live classes, you always have the access to all the micro sessions or the crash courses, which keeps on happening on a regular basis. So you do not even have to feel afraid that, oh my god, I missed this class, what do I do now? Because that will be super sorted for you. All you need to do is just go on the link given in the description box or that is pinned in the comments and follow the following steps. Choose your grade, choose your board, check out all the details that's there, and just click on the get subscription button. After that, you will get 3 options of 1 month, 3 months and 6 months. Whatever is the most suitable for you guys, choose that. If you feel you just want to give it a trial, you're not very sure if you want what do you want to do, then go ahead with 1 month. If you feel 3 months is enough for you to prepare, then go ahead with 3 months. If you feel you want to be with us till your final exams and rock it in your exams and be a part of all the privileges that you get as a Vedantu Pro subscriber, then go ahead with 6 months. In fact, 6 months is a jackpot. You get 11,499 subscription now just for 9,199. How does that happen? So guys, as I told you, just go into the link that is given in the description box or that is pinned in the comments and use the coupon code AKEPRO. No matter which subscription, which plan you are picking up, guys, remember to use this code. The AKEPRO is my coupon code. This will give you access to huge discount, and that's going to be super awesome. Now let's quickly look at your homework question. The Peninsular Plateau of the India is a part of which of the following land mass? Which part, the plateau was a part of which of the following land masses? Angara land, Tethys, Gondwana, or none of the above. And with this, we have come to the end of the session. Guys, do not forget to put your answers in the comment section, because that's where we will be picking up your names from. Also, make sure you are putting your doubts in the comment section, guys, because that's where I'll be picking up your doubts to discuss in the doubt and the mentee session. If you enjoyed the session, do not forget to hit the like button and make sure you're subscribing to the channel so that as soon as we come with the second part of the session, you get the notification immediately. And I will see you guys in the next session. Till then, stay home, stay safe, guys, take good care of yourself and have a great day ahead. Bye bye.